Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at something I've never ever done before, but I'm going to rank the top 10 units currently in Dragon Ball Legends. And I want to do it now because when the Ultra comes out, generally speaking, like let's say an Ultra Bardock comes out, like he usually at Legends Fest or Anni is there. Like the Ultra is always or almost always the premium unit. It's like almost always the top unit in the game, feels like the top unit in the game, feels indestructible, shapes the meta, becomes the #1 unit for like 2 months. It's just very, very undeniable at this point. So I thought what I'd do is I would, essentially try to run or take a look at the top 10 units now while things are basically still fresh, but also like with all the new releases that have come out and new Zenkais and everything. Obviously there should be more Zenkais. I think people are hoping for more Zenkais. The thing is, it's quite difficult to see where the Zenkais are going to potentially be coming from, because a lot of the times the Zenkais will correlate around the theme. Like for example, we had Rev UI in part 1, but now we, moving into part 2 and it's Saiyan Saga. So who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be another platinum for Piccolo, like Yellow Piccolo? Is it gonna be something to do with for example, like I don't even know, Nappa? It's just very difficult to see where the potential Zenkais are coming from. Could be other units, but yeah. So I thought let's do it now, just for the fun of things now, especially that Goku and Vegeta have been around for a little bit. I think it'll be cool. So yeah, all in all, I want people to understand that Legends is also one of those games where unfortunately the 10 most recently released units generally are around the top 10. It's not always the case, but it generally is. So let's talk about it. So I'm going to kind of break it down into segments. I'm going to talk about the top 3, and then I'm going to talk about kind of the midsection, and then maybe the units that are near the tail end. So let's talk about the top 3 in the game. And I think right now I probably would do this. The reason why this is the case, so you gotta understand a couple of things. Firstly, dynamic battles have just come out, so gauging how that's going to change the meta is a bit difficult, and the amount of units that can actually utilize dynamic battles correctly is difficult as well. Goku and Vegeta were designed to showcase dynamic battles and to get it off the ground, so they just clearly are going to work well in that meta. They have abilities that literally are, coordinated around dynamic battles. UI Goku benefits from the combat update tremendously. The combat update with the overcharge mechanic and the charge protection against tap attacks, and then also against the ability to now charge into a tackle, like all of these things, very, very crazy. So overcharging has helped the UI format of gameplay, which is the stand back and look method of gameplay, a lot. So that has made things a little bit more difficult. Then we come, to kind of like, I would say, the midsection. I also do want it noted that for me, I find that probably, depending on the rest of your team, this will alternate for you. But I think for me, this way that this play now benefits Goku is green card. Like, you just force people to basically have to engage with you. It's such a toxic, kind of situation. Next, we can talk about some other units here. So I think we have to talk about kind of a little batch of units here first. So I think for me, the conversation about which Ultra is currently the best is between Hit and MV. I think the big thing with MV is that he was probably here, like right or here, like maybe before the start of the anniversary. He was probably around here. The reason red units are so high, like Perfect Cell, Goku, Hit, is largely because of MV as well. But with so many red units coming out and with so many changes to the teams that he's on, he does kind of move down a little bit. He kind of drops, further down the rung because there's now just 1, 2, 3 direct counters. Cell for me is also one that is very, very good, but I think potentially for me suffers from his team. Now you can always use him as a leader, of course, but I do think his team is fairly limited. Like, he himself is great, but his team is not super duper high up. So you're largely prohibited to running him as a lead for the most part, albeit I do actually find him to be really, really good. Like, I do actually find him to be just really, really, really solid. For me, the conversation then stems to Daima Goku. Where does Daima Goku come into these things, and how good is he? So the big hindrance with Daima Goku, that was always bound to happen by the way, is that Daima Goku is fundamentally tied to the Daima team. You can run him on non-Daima teams, sure, but as units come out in the meta, as more units counter him, as more units counter his team, especially now with paralysis being muted hard by this Vegeta, the thing is that units then tend to drop off the list. And when that happens, when you have a character whose big key indestructible core mechanic relies on being on a team that consists of Daima characters, he's going to drop down the list. So Daima Goku, when Daima was here, felt unstoppable. But as Daima falls down the list, as Vegeta cancels paralysis, you're going to see him kind of do this. I still think he's probably here. I think that would just be my kind of placement for him. Green Goku, I think, sits around here. Now, Green Goku is very good. I think he's incredibly solid. I think his plat makes him really, really good. But what makes him so good right now is that he counters him. Like, his whole existence in this list, as well as Vegeta's to a certain extent, but his definite popularity and like level of performance right now is because he counters him. But he counters him very hard. Like, very, very, very hard. Probably the hardest green counter to Blue UI Goku that there is currently in the game. It's the only thing really still keeping him in check as a unit. So very, very, very solid there. Next we get to number 9. I think this one is an interesting one that is more difficult than it seems. So this Vegeta is not bad. I want people to understand that I think this Vegeta was designed more than fine, but his role exists right now as a bodyguard for him. So his role exists to kind of be as his little bodyguard, protecting him from units like him and from him. And he does that job okay, but it feels like outside of that job, the green purple meta is shifted entirely on UI Goku. If your opponent has a green, it's largely because they're trying to counter him. And if you're running him, it's largely because you're trying to counter them from countering him. That's just really where it feels. So he still feels just more a reactionary unit. He's not setting the meta at all, and I think that's something that's kind of counterintuitive. And same with Rev UI. Like, Rev UI just feels like a slightly lesser, worse off version than this Goku. The reason why I keep Rev UI here, for me, is because Rev UI actually is, to a certain point, benefiting from that overcharged passive play again. So, again, the question becomes, how much does the change in dynamic battles and overcharge mechanics benefit Rev UI? And then we have the 10th slot. Now, I put these 3 units here for number 10 because for me they all share similarities and all share roles. These guys are great as a tag counter right now. With their green and everything, they're just working really, really nicely. And it does make a huge difference to the fundamental functionality of a ton of teams. They help him, 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 they don't help him, they help him. So they're just there, they're just good, they're just one of those sparkings that is on a run and will stay on a run. It's the same with this Ku, I think this is Ku or Du, I think this is Ku. He is just very good, and you could put probably Margin Ku in there as well. Like, I think both of them really are needed. Like, you should technically put these guys as a trio, right? Like, these three together are the 6th best unit in the game. These three together are the 5th best team in the game, probably, or 6th best team in the game. You know, there or thereabouts. Like, they're all really, really good. So I just think, yeah, they, through that method and their cruciality to him, make it work. And this green Vegito is working like a slightly worse off counter than God Goku. So great unit, great job. And yeah, I just think it's a really interesting situation. So yeah, that's my top 10. Probably wrong. You feel free to argue with me as much as you want. But yeah, that's my thoughts. See you guys next time. Till then, bye.